Hi everyone, it is Monday the 27th of April. I'm Ana Maria Montero and you are watching CNN Money Switzerland. And our main story tonight is how Switzerland is taking its first steps in loosening its lockdown today. Florists, do-it-yourself stores, therapy practices and hairdressers are among the shops allowed to open again for business. My colleague Olivia Chang is in Zurich.
We're in the heart of Zurich and we're seeing the first signs of activity again as Switzerland begins to loosen its lockdown today. Now, you won't be able to dine out, but you can still get your hair cut or even pick up a bouquet of flowers. It won't be business as usual, however, because a lot of these stores will be stepping up their preventative measures. I've just ducked into the flower store right behind me. They already have posters everywhere telling people to respect their 2 meters of social distancing. They also have disinfectant out at the front for all the clients who walk in. Now, hairdressers are also expected to see a big boost in business this week, with some telling me that they're already completely booked out. If you just take a look at the one behind me, they have masks for both the clients and the staff, and you can see here lining along their windowsill. They also have a lot of protective gear and equipment. One thing you will notice on the streets, however, is that not everyone is going to be wearing a mask, and that's because the Swiss government has made it clear that it is not an obligation for the general public. They say that keeping that distance between you and other people and washing those hands are still the most effective preventative measures. Now, bear in mind, we're still talking about the very first step of this whole unwinding of the restrictions in Switzerland. The next 2 phases will come in May and June as we gradually start to see schools, museums and libraries reopen again, provided that we don't see a huge spike in the number of coronavirus cases. Olivia Chang, Zurich.
And in other parts of Switzerland, reopenings also got off to a good start. At Migros Do-It-Yourself and Gardening Center M Park in Geneva, queues formed early this morning as people tried to get ahead of the crowds. Esmeralda Matis, one shopper keen to start work on her flower beds, shares her experience.
So it was the first day they were reopening everything for the garden, so I was very impatient to come since maybe this year we won't have any vacation, so at least we have a nice garden. And I think this morning it went fine. I was expecting worse. The queue was manageable. It wasn't a big queue. It was just, I have to wait maybe for 10 minutes the queue. People are very respecting the rules. So inside it wasn't too crowded. We have to put some gel on the hands. Maybe more people is wearing the mask today, because now we are finding everywhere the mask to buy. It wasn't the case earlier, and I think it was fine. And about the flowers, I could find everything I was expecting, and it was fine. Nobody was, everybody was respecting the rules.
Schilliger, one of the major gardening centers in Canton of Vaud, also welcomed back shoppers today. My colleague Matt Layton spoke to Helen Schilliger, who runs the family business. Let's take a listen.
Here at Schilliger, we're so happy to open again and see all the people coming. We never stopped working because we had to produce all the plants for today. So we are really happy today to see all the nice flowers and all the people coming to buy them. It's been very difficult because in 6 weeks we lost 15% of our incomes, and this means 5 months of whole salaries.
Today's openings is just the very first step of the unwinding of the restrictions. The next 2 phases will happen in May and June, where schools, museums, zoos and libraries will gradually reopen if the number of COVID cases remains stable. Speaking of which, so far, over 29,000 people have tested positive in Switzerland. The number of new daily cases continues to decline, with the Public Health Office today reporting a total of 103 new cases since Sunday. Now, just over 1,350 people have died. Now, as we heard earlier, retailing has been one of the sectors worst hit by the lockdown. According to Credit Suisse, temporary closure of non-food shops means a drop in sales of around 20% for the sector this year. On the other hand, the bank also forecasts that lockdown will give a massive boost to online shopping, which is expected to record an increase in sales of around 30% this year. And a new study by CNNMoney Switzerland and the Swiss SME Association shows the toll the pandemic is taking on small and medium-sized companies. SMEs make up more than 99% of firms in Switzerland. About a quarter of those surveyed have seen a loss of at least 50% in revenue. On top of that, half of the companies also see bankruptcy as a real possibility. Following the crisis, many SMEs are expected to boost their marketing efforts through promotions and discounts to get customers back on board. And with live sports broadcasting at a standstill, the European Broadcasting Union has many challenges ahead. Our sports correspondent Matt Layton has the latest.
Obviously, there is opportunity. I know you from an OTT background, and so you're looking at different solutions. What do you think we can learn from this, and what opportunities going forward to supply the best possible for the consumer?
Well, certainly what we're seeing is a lot of our member organizations are seeing a huge shift towards digital. I think everybody's been reading about the huge successes of Netflix and Disney Plus, etc. Particularly at this time, huge amounts of audiences shifting there. But that's true of free to air as well. Our members are seeing a huge shift towards digital, and I think there's a great opportunity for us to really kind of keep those audiences flowing through our digital platforms. I mean, I think it's a story we don't tell very effectively across the free-to-air market, but basically most of our members on their home markets are in the top 3 digital platforms in their home territory, and that's against the likes of Amazon and digital. So we do perform extremely well. Our membership does perform extremely well in that digital environment, and it's about providing content that keeps audiences there, because I think that's where audiences will want to be. But obviously free to air, live, linear is a big facet of live sport, and people want to watch on the large screen. How they receive it on the large screen, will be determined over the next number of years. But certainly a mixed model of having some kind of live linear and some digital content is fantastic. And what in the OTT world, what works is great technology, great content, but the missing piece for a lot of the OTTs kind of players is marketing, and that's what we have. We have that trust and that relationship with huge audiences across all of our membership on radio and television, across over 50 European, Middle Eastern, and North African territories. And I suppose that's a recipe for success when it comes to OTT, and a recipe for successful partnerships as well, which is what I think may come from this, is that partnerships will be forged in the most unlikely places after this, because needs must, and you're in an extreme circumstance, and people, companies, agencies, television channels, etc., will look to partner more and more to try and offset some of the damage that this terrible virus has done.
Do you feel it as a threat or an opportunity that a lot of very high profile athletes, we're looking at tennis and football, have actually gone direct through the different media sites? Can you help them in some way, or do you think that's a threat to you centralized people?
No, I see it as an absolute opportunity. I think we need to work with athletes. I think we can provide that platform for them. I think what you have in a direct to consumer or a direct to audience play is you've got a plethora, thousands of different applications to reach different audiences, and they're all like grains of sand on the beach. People are creating these wonderful cathedrals in the desert that look great and that do everything that technically that you'd like, but nobody really visits them. And creating an audience is what we do. We bring massive audiences across all of our platforms and all of our channels across our membership, and that's what we can bring. We can partner with these athletes, partner with federations to try and reach new audiences for them, and I think that's one of the great USPs that public service media, free to air media brings to the table.
And that's it for now. As always, you can catch this and any of the rest of our content on our website, cnnmoney.ch. And of course, feel free to stay in touch with us via all of our social media platforms. Thanks so much for being with us, and we'll see you again right back here tomorrow. Till then.